Possum Patty owns a rock hammer. Well, I'm ringing in the summer solstice with some rock music today. I was poking about in the basement looking for something, and I came across my rock hammer. So I decided to go outside and do a little rock hounding. Howdy, Possum Patty here, and it is June 20th. Happy first day of the summer. It is about 90 degrees and I'm in the shade. And I see a little bit of breeze up in the trees. And some very high cirrus clouds. Remember, those are made out of ice crystals. So it's 90 degrees down here and very cold up there. I went over to the line of boulders by the sand mound where I had collected up a few different kinds of rocks. And I am looking at rocks. My intention was to use the hammer to split open some of the rocks to get a good look at the part of the rock that wasn't weathered. Rock hounds do this because the outside of the rock can be very weathered and the inside of the rock can look quite different. So I'm out here, not in the hot sun, but in the shade, smashing some rocks. I found this very interesting green rock in the yard, and it makes a ringing sound. And this is metamorphic. This is called nice. And this is made out of black and white layers of rock. But after banging on a few of the rocks with my hammer, I became a little fascinated with the different sounds that the rocks were making, especially this greenstone, which if you hit it just right, seemed to have a little bit of a metallic ring to it. When I painted my page, I used a lot of the shimmering paints from Daniel Smith. I got them off of my sample card here. And there's quite a few different metallic, shimmering and shiny colors. And the reason I did that was because these rocks have quite a bit of mica in it, and mica really shines in the sun. So this is the greenstone. The one that has a little bit of a metallic sound to it. A little bit of a ring to it. So I brought in a few little chips of the rocks to look at the mineral grains under my zoomy microscope, because rocks are aggregates of minerals. And this one that glitters gold and silver, that's a Scotland schist. And the one with the black and white stripes, that's the nice. This whole big boulder that these rocks are sitting on is made out of gneiss. Although it looks like it's got a vein of something running through it. And the ones that have layers and they're very sparkly, these are the schist. Lots of mica and everything here. I'm so easily entertained. I just sat there and pounded rocks for a little while with the hammer and then started pounding the rocks with other rocks, just to hear the different sounds they were making. There are actually a few parks around the country where you can go and bring your rock hammer. One of them is Ringing Rocks Park in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and hit the rocks until you find the ones with a great ringing sound. Man, am I easily amused. This is just another childlike way to explore the wonders in nature. After pounding on these rocks for a while, I looked around and noticed that a boulder a few feet away had quite a story to tell. Every rock has a story to tell, and I'm going to tell this rock story. And it started a long time ago. There were two continents that started moving towards each other, and in between there were some volcanic islands. And as these two continents moved towards each other, these islands got pushed up over the continents, and even some of the ocean floor got pushed up. And then a long time after that, the continents started pulling and ripping apart. There was a lot of heat and pressure when the continents and the volcanoes and the ocean floor all came together. And then there was a lot of tension when they started separating. When they started separating, cracks formed in this granite, and some of the hot molten rock came up in the cracks. Now the molten rock became an igneous rock when it cooled, and there's a very fine-grained igneous rock here. And then the contact metamorphosis, the area between this igneous rock and the original granite that was here, in this area, formed a metamorphic rock. And this is gneiss. It's black and white striped, G-N-E-I-S-S, gneiss. And long after that, a glacier came and ripped some of the bedrock apart. And it tumbled the boulder and tumbled it in the glacier until it was round and smooth. And then about 10,000 years ago, the glacier receded and left this boulder sitting in my yard. The end. But it's not really the end of the story, because now it gives Possum Patty something to investigate. So let's take a closer look at this boulder. So let's take a closer look at Possum Patty's boulder. Here you have the granite, and it has large crystals, a lot of pink and white and black. And if you look at the other side, you can see here the large white crystals. And then in the center, you have two areas of igneous rock, very fine grain. One is here, and the other one is a big swirl coming around. So this was the molten rock coming up, making this swirl. And then the metamorphic contact zone between the granite and this fine-grained igneous rock, we have a metamorphic rock, and it's black and white stripes, and this is gneiss, G-N-E-I-S-S. And it was the heat from the molten rock that changed the granite into the gneiss. And in this fine-grained rock, there's also a vein of something. Could be quartz or feldspar or something. And happy summer solstice to Sherry and Rachel and Susie and Susan and Yana and Loretta and Everly and everyone who came along with me to Nature Journal today. Bye-bye.